Hey everyone, this is my skin at the bottom of my leg under a magnifying glass that has a light around it, and I can tell you the feeling I'm getting in my skin is burning, stinging, and I swear intense. Like, I really want to scratch the hell out of it. And it's aching as well. But this is like a nightly event with Morgellons disease. That's how I pronounce it. I think everybody else pronounces it Morgellons. But yeah, this is 10 years in now. I've had this disease, and still no acknowledgement by anybody, no respect, no treatment. Well, yeah, I did get put on doxycycline, fair enough, but that's it. I've been forgot about now. And this, it's not right. We just shouldn't have to be enduring all this on our own with nothing. Oh God, I can't even explain how much it hurts your heart. You know, the very people that you go to for help medically are like basically not listening, they're just not doing the job, following the democratic oath. You're meant to help your patients in any way you can get to the root cause of the problem. How can you dismiss a person, right, with delusions of parasitosis without first observing that patient, monitoring, seeing for the, looking for the symptoms yourself, admit them to a ward, even for constant 24-hour observation, so you can see with your own eyes what they have to cope with. But because it has been given the name Morgellons, and everything that's on the internet says delusional parasitosis, and then you have these people that believe it's blinking nanotechnology. But I'm not being funny, them people don't do us any help, do they really? But it's your fault that they're even thinking that. Because what we have to cope with is like something from the X-Files. And when you're not getting any treatment at all, your mind, it's racing with what it is. I mean, for the first 5 years, I had no idea what was taking over my body. It's horrible. And you can come up with all sorts of things in your own head of what you believe it to be. Because nobody's going to tell you. You know, you've only got your own mind. But I've never believed anything like that. Nanotechnology bollocks. I know it maybe down in future it might be possible, but anyway, you know your own body, but you can't dismiss us all because of people that put stuff on like that. Because them people even might be genuinely sick. Some of them make it up, but they might be genuinely sick because it plays with your mind. Remember, it's in your brain. And it is itching like mad. I swear to God, I'm dying to scratch it. Oh, I don't know if you can see to the top of the screen where it's going dark, that stripe. That, wow, it's so badly itching. Oh God, I want to scratch it. I can't scratch it. But look, and I swear to God, there is not 1 inch of my skin that hasn't got this in it. It's in the skin, it's not on the skin. And it just kicks off like, you know, starts like, you know, well, you always know you've got it. It reminds you's boss every now and again if you dare to do a bit too much housework. This is why I'm enduring this, because I've been busy doing some cleaning, but I've also been making these gift sets up and doing my bit to raise awareness for a completely different disease. There's an event on Sunday to raise awareness for motor neurons disease. So I've done my bit with me donations, but just because I've been busy and I've worked that myself, I've pushed a bit harder through the symptoms than I would usually. It's battering me tonight now for that. It's like, well, obviously, yeah, your body's not your own anymore when you've got this, but it's like, it's trying to let you know. This is in my head. You might think I sound mental, but it's like, whenever I do something I want to do, and I push through the pain to do it, I end up with this kind of thing happening. And it's always over night time when I'm trying to relax. I swear that is itching so bad. I want to scratch it, like, I can't. Oh, my hand's aching holding the camera. I mean, honestly, not one of you doctors who have dismissed it, because all you've gone off is the classic signs to look out for with Morgellons disease. Patients who claim to have fibres coming out the skin and spontaneous eruptions, and then patients that turn up with the fibres to show the doctor what's coming from the body. And it's nicknamed the matchbox sign. And straight away you put into that category box of mentally unwell, right? It's wrong. How can they say that you're mental, right? But they aren't bothered. They haven't bothered to do a study. They might have done a few laboratory studies, but they might have had, well, I know CDC did a study on a handful of patients. I mean, what a joke. And it worked for what they did anyway. So, you know, it's like, you don't want to say it's real. You don't want to acknowledge us because, you know, it's a big deal. And it's a heavy-duty illness is this, right? And no individual person is going to suffer the same symptoms, because it all goes on whatever has been transmitted into your bloodstream from whatever tick bitten you, right? So many of us have different co-infections, so therefore we require a tailored treatment plan. Well, that's all money, innit? Money, 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 and they like the money. The government, the CDC and the public health, they don't want to part with any money for this. Instead, they leave us all, you know, to be tortured. And, oh God, a large majority kill themselves, and I'm not joking. For the first 5 years, when I had no hair, it made me lose my hair and everything. Changed all my facial features. I was in pain 24 hours a day. Oh, I just can't explain to you how harrowing it were. I was just in a dark hole of a place. for 5 years, and I had 3 young kids. Nobody had helped me. Whenever I went to doctors, I came away heartbroken, and even more, you know, because it's not like it wasn't visible, you know. My hair, the texture of it and everything. But nobody cares. Anyway, and then I get fibre, which actually, thanks for it manifesting into Morgellons from Lyme, at least I got that diagnosis, and that's how I came across the Morgellons, the Charles E. Holman's Morgellons Disease Foundation in America. I think the director, it's Cindy Casey. If it wasn't for finding the website, I wouldn't be alive, because I was dying. Excruciating. Honestly, it was excruciating. I was scared out of my mind, and nobody had helped me. Nobody. And I even had a doctor witness it, like, and ambulance people. But one day, I really wish I'd recorded it now, in hindsight. I didn't think, you know, because I thought, oh, when he sees for himself, I'm going to get help, because the you know, I didn't know all this controversy surrounding this illness. I didn't know what were up with me. But I went to my doctor's one day with a spray bottle of bleach, a little tiny one, because I'd worked out, well, I came to realise that every time I cleaned up with bleach spray to wipe my sides down, it'd trigger the black gooey Tory ash type stuff to come from my hands and that. So I went with my husband this day to my doctor's, and I said, I told him what. Anyway, he's looking at me. Then I asked him, do you not mind if I go to your sink over there and spray the palms of my hands to show you something? Anyway, he looked confused, right? And I think he thought I were an absolute mental case. But, it you know, in his opinion, he thought he'd humour me and then get rid. Which, understandably, you know, you can understand. But I said to him, right, I went, you watch what happens. I'll spray the palms of my hands with this bleach. Well, I only sprayed one hand, sorry. I said, and watch. So I made him look at the palm of my hand. He stood at the side of the sink with me. I said, right, is there anything there? He said, no. I said, right, watch. So I sprayed the bleach on my hand, and within seconds, I felt, you always feel the burning, itching feeling. And this here, like, type stuff, stripy, red, white, whatever stuff. I said, honest to God, I swear on my kids' lives, within seconds, black, it were like wet black stuff coming out of the palms of my hands, right? I looked at him, I said, look, I swear to God, I have never seen anybody so gobsmacked in my entire life. His eyes were wide, in shock. His mouth was open, like gaping open. He couldn't shut it. And he had his hand on his head, like, trying to think. Honestly, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. And I thought, finally, I'm going to get help. Anyway, he's going on his computer. And I'm thinking, what, right? I'm saying, so you seen that then? What do you think it is? And I swear he was that dumbfounded by it, he couldn't speak. All he did was keep looking at my hands and then typing for information on what causes it, right? Well, unbeknown to me at that time, he would have, well, when he's typed in black goo coming from skin, first thing that would have come up is, oh, Morgellons disease. They're not all there. and all the controversy that surrounds it, yeah, that doctor, he knows what he's seen. He witnessed it, right? But he's only one man, and he's thought, you know what, wow, I've seen it, but I'm not even going to say I've seen it, because then he risks being discredited. He risks people second-guessing his opinions on things because of the controversy that is on this illness. So he knows it's real. He's seen it, yeah, but he didn't help me. There's not one documentation, there's no record of that appointment on my file, right? And I kid you not, we had a 15-minute appointment slot. I was in that room with him for well over an hour. Well over an hour. Because he was non-stop on the internet. But yeah, it's not in my medical file. I never got no letter through the door. And I was mad with him at first, but then when I find out I have this disease, when these fibres started coming, I understand why. I mean, what's the point in being a doctor if you can't do your job properly? What is it? What that must, well, to them that actually care, right, must destroy the soul a bit. You go into this kind of profession to help people, not to leave them being tormented with a parasitic illness that does all sorts to your body. It's just undescribable what it does. You know, it's horrible. It takes your life. Extreme fatigue, debilitating fatigue. You can sleep for 8 hours straight. You wake up and you feel like you've not slept for a week. It's too much effort to just like even, God, have a shower, a wash. You walk past your dishes. Do you know what I'm having to do to get a bit of energy? So that I can do a bit of housework. I have to take Pro Plus and them glucose tablets. They don't help me symptoms. Just to give me a little tiny bit of energy, because I have none at all. And then, well, to be as unwell as this, and to be dismissed like we are, it's appalling. It's appalling. I mean, I won't mind, it's a known disease. It's not even unknown to you. You've known for decades and done nothing. You thought you'd known, you thought you've learned all there is to know. You're not bothered because it doesn't affect your life, does it? Unless you're bitten by a tick. But look at you all now. COVID's here, innit? Zoonotic disease, like Lyme and Morgellons diseases. Look at all the hype. The government running round, not knowing what to do. Heads well and truly up their arses, right? Because they do not know what they're dealing with. Because instead of taking the opportunity over these past few decades of knowing of Lyme, taking that opportunity and listening to all the people voicing what's going on with the bodies, to study and learn about it, they ignored it. They didn't want to put money into it. So they labelled us instead with a mental illness. Do you understand what that does to a person that knows they're not mentally ill? They're very, 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 very poorly. Right? The life's completely changed. And then you've got a doctor saying it's all in your head. Oh, God, it's like, my heart aches. It's like someone's just crushing it. Where's the compassion? Like, You all sit on fence. All stick with each other. Oh, don't want to touch that disease. It'll reflect bad on me. Forget all them people living with this parasitic illness that if a cow has, gets shot in head, may I add. But, hey, us human beings, yeah, we're just left and labelled mental and forced to take antipsychotic drugs, which put 3.5 stone in weight on me. I swear, it's a massive, massive injustice. And if you wouldn't have ignored this illness, there wouldn't have been all these deaths with COVID. It's your fault. You, the governments, all over the world, each country, the CDC in America, Public Health England, and every other country, health authority, yeah. This COVID situation could have been avoided. And all them deaths, I don't care what you say, my opinion, are on your hands. So I hope you forever feel guilty for not following the democratic oath that you swear when you're sworn in as a medical practitioner of any sort. You're meant to put the patient first, not yourself. Do you know? Right, end of. I've had enough. I'm going downstairs for a brew.